I think I love Nancy Hagan. I think she, I think one time, I don't know what she thinks of me on a personal level. I think she thinks I'm crazy. I know one time that sometimes my mouth, gets a little ahead of me. I try to think before I speak, but I know Nancy, I respect Nancy a lot. I know she's dedicated, and I know that one time I mentioned to her about now that Fort Worth has a new building, that now it's Arlington's turn, and I swear I thought she was gonna kill me. But anyway, I know how hard she worked to help coordinate, the raising of the funds for that building over there, and I know she's dedicated, and she's got an awesome sense of humor. She can be very serious. Obviously, she's got an extremely serious position, and she can be very serious when it's absolutely necessary and she needs to, and she's good at her job. She's great at her job, but she's got another side to her. She's got an extremely good sense of humor, and I like our relationship a lot.
And Nancy was very effective at finding her place within that community and making the Alliance for Children slowly but surely become the most important program for children in the community. And you couldn't, she did it tactfully, and she took her time. I mean, they didn't start out with a therapy program because there was another organization with a therapy program. But when the time was right, Nancy and the board of Alliance for Children said, now it's time for us to put this piece into place. And it was just an ability to function with the players that were on the ground and make this program fit seamlessly into the community that was already here and enhance the efforts that had already been started.
Nancy Hagan, I would have to say Nancy Hagan is my surrogate aunt. So everybody here that works here is some sort of my family. So I've made them my family whether they like it or not. So I don't know how she feels about being my aunt, but she is. Nancy is, she's, I'm going to say at times kind of stoic. She's very quiet, very serious, and yet you can kind of see her let loose every once in a while. But she is very concerned about what she does here. She's constantly advocating for this group and what we do, and concerned for us. She's not just concerned about the Alliance people themselves, but I think she's concerned about the relationship that's built with law enforcement and the medical examiners and the medical offices at Cook Children's Hospital or any of the hospitals we deal with. She's concerned about the relationship with law enforcement and how we work with CPS. They built a program with the forensic interviewers that I think is probably recognized nationally in the things that we do. We're kind of pioneers in a lot of ways, the things we're doing, and it's been very successful, the things that she's kind of initiated that have helped us get cases prosecuted. So she's done a great job with this agency.
Personally, I think she is more underrated than anyone else in the group. I don't think, especially now in the newer building, and this, we're spread out a little bit more. We don't have quite as much interaction with Nancy as we used to, or with all of us pretty much, outside the investigation itself. But I don't think people realize just how much Nancy does and just how far-reaching her influence is, well beyond not only the walls of this building, but well beyond Fort Worth and throughout the state of Texas and the country.
Really? No, I love Nancy. Nancy and I mean, we've been on many committees together, and and I think she and I think a lot alike on how to approach issues, and the leadership she's provided for the AFC over the years. I mean, come on, it's been phenomenal.
Words, and I think I embarrassed Nancy a little bit because I told them all that I had a crush on her, and she. Yeah, I think her eyes darted away from me real quick, and she got red. But I meant it, Nancy. No, she's great.
That's awesome.
I remember, of course, I've officed with several, but when I officed across, Nancy was in the doorway or the office right next to us. We had not less necessarily the great personalities, but we just all worked together, all being different and so close. I said, a room not this size with 4 or 5 people in it was very difficult.
Suffice it to say that anybody who is exposed, certainly on a regular basis, to the den of iniquity, suffered what would definitely fall under the realm of cruel and unusual punishment.
One said person that may have suffered that would be our very own Executive Director, Nancy Hagan, who got to share a wall with said den of iniquity.
She did share a common wall and even a door that kind of like the walk-through door in a hotel room that's locked and never used. I think it was boarded up from her side.
We always knew we might have done something wrong when David Stamp had to have closed-door meetings with Nancy, and then he would come in and talk to us like a stern father with furrowed brow. And we'd have to change our behavior, or at least modify it slightly.
Yeah, we could be in talking about something, and of course Nancy's office was right next door, and you could hear her walk out, you could hear that air being sucked out as she went by, and all of a sudden, about 10 minutes later, you could hear Dave coming up the stairs, and all of us look at each other like, uh-oh, here it goes.
What do we do now?
We've done something.
She did mention when we interviewed her earlier that she had to put a bookcase over that door, various soundproofing techniques in an attempt to maintain work during the day.
I'm really proud of what I did, but I'm glad that it's in the hands of very capable people. And that's really what's more important to me, is that you find people who step into your shoes and carry on the job that you started years ago. And I know that I feel that's happened for me in the district attorney's office, and I certainly see it happening with the Children's Advocacy Centers. I learned a lot from Carol Alexander. She was a board chairman before me, and right after I got elected board chairman, she stopped coming to meetings. And I remember a conversation I had with Nancy about, is she upset with me? And Nancy said, no. She just understands that she took it to this point, and if it's going to continue, she has to step aside because other people have to keep it going. And I took that to heart, and I still do it in my scouting work and in other things, that when I'm done, when I've done my part, it's time for me to step aside and hope that I've laid the groundwork for someone else to come in and continue the mission that we had.
It's hard to narrow it down to one favorite part. I am very committed to the mission of Alliance for Children. This is not just a job for me. This truly is my career. This is my home. This is where I'm going to be.
As always, thanks for coming.